Today, we've recorded some special bonus content for Summer 18 release readiness. We're going to be covering Field Service Lightning. And with that, our product managers will be sharing a sneak peek into the roadmap. So we will be making some forward-looking statements. And with that, please make your purchasing decisions based on what's currently available in the product. Let's meet our product managers.
Hi, I'm Karthik. I'm here to give a very high-level overview on the Summer 18 features.
Hi, I'm Tushar Sharma. I'm going to demo some of the features that Karthik talks about, and then also tell you a little bit about what's coming in Winter 19.
All right, let's get started. Summer 18 is really a very exciting release for us. We've made significant investments in our mobile strategy, and in summer, we continued down the path of innovation, and our Android app this year, this release, has a lot of exciting new capabilities, such as barcode scanning, the ability to launch flows through quick actions, or the ability to preview and print service reports right from the mobile phone. And there are many more capabilities, and Tushar will go into some details on during his demo. We've also heard customers over the last couple of years ask us to provide a means for the end consumers to self-serve and book appointments or requests for some kind of work to be done. So in this release, we have brought snap-ins to FSL. So now you can embed an FSL snap-in into your web properties and provide self-service appointment management capabilities to your customers. We've also provided or added support for additional FSL objects in our communities. Last summer, we launched 2 new products, Contractors and Contractor Plus, that were based off of communities. So you can enable your third parties to get work and update work from the customer community or the partner community. The objects were available using the Visualforce tabs. And over the last couple of releases, we have enabled all of the FSL objects to be available in Lightning communities as well. Now, moving on to the core field service capabilities, we've also included the ability to associate knowledge articles to work types. Earlier, you were able to associate knowledge articles to work orders, but that was tedious and manual, or you could create some kind of an automation that would do it for you. But with Summer, we've provided the ability for you to configure it against the work type. So anytime a work order is created, all of these articles get automatically associated to that work order. Talking of automation, we've also improved our preventive maintenance module by adding automation to the work order generation. So versus earlier, somebody would have had to go in and press a button every time they needed to create a batch of work orders. Now you could set up the appropriate parameters, hit that button once, and then we take care of the automation to automatically generate those work orders at the right time for you. We've also enhanced our dispatch console with 2 new capabilities. We're calling the first one Resource Schedule Optimization. And we also included a new feature by which you can create custom filters or custom list views that would be visible in the dispatch console. Tushar will go into some details during his demo and talk to them in more detail. We stayed true to our philosophy of building into the platform as well as leveraging from the platform. So in this release, we have leveraged capabilities that you have experienced and enjoyed elsewhere within Salesforce. So case in point, we've brought Path to FSL. By doing this, we've actually retired or delivered 340 idea exchange points. So keep those ideas coming. We do look at them and deliver on them. Path really helps you visualize the different states that the record is in a nice visual manner, color-coded. And it also allows you to specify the fields that need to be filled out when the record is in a certain field or in a certain state. We've also brought in criteria-based sharing into FSL. So now you could set up all of those criteria and automatically share records with people that you have set up. We've also brought in Shield into FSL. So industries that need an elevated level of encryption, like either healthcare or financial services that are highly regulated, can benefit from using Shield when they have field service use cases. So that was a lot of content in one slide. Tushar, can you show us some of these in product?
Sure, and thanks for the overview, Karthik. I have a lot to demo here because we've been working so hard on all these awesome features. So I'll breeze through it. The first feature I want to demo is called Snap-in Appointment Management. Now, the thing with Snap-in is that you can actually embed Salesforce functionality into your own website without having to write any code. And the other great thing about Snap-in is that customers then use this Salesforce functionality without even knowing that they're using Salesforce. So the entire experience is built in a way that you and your customers would prefer. In this particular demo, I'm going to show as an end customer how I can go to your website and book an appointment. So this is a fictitious company called Cabletown, and I'm trying to book an appointment using this button. So I click on Book Appointment button, which brings up the pop-up. Click on Book New Appointment. And let's say in this case, I'm going to create a repair order, emergency order, because my programming is down. I click on Next, and it tries to locate my address. I click on Next, and then it'll try to figure out and find all the slots that are available. Let's say I pick an earliest slot that's available, click on Next. And at this point, Salesforce is trying to create a work order and also book an appointment for that work order for me. And you can see that appointment has been scheduled. Click on Next, and I can see the details of that appointment. Now let's say your appointment is booked. I move on to the dispatcher console. Now I'm sure all of you are aware what feature Dispatch Console have for our dispatchers. It makes it really easy for them to manage resources and their schedules. So there's a couple of features I want to highlight that we've worked on for this release. The first one being custom filter list. So now as a dispatcher, I can create my own list to filter my service appointments. So for example, in this case, when I click on New, I want to create a list which filters and shows me only emergency work orders. Let me call it emergency. And then if you drill down, you can see here, I can add one or more criteria to my filter list. In this case, I'm going to add emergency equals true. And if I wanted to, I could add more fields here and then use a Boolean expression to connect those in an expression. Once I do this, I can either make it available just for me or for all the users. So I save this. And if I go to the list, you can see that I see emergency, and there is this one work order that just came in. So that's, I think, a very cool feature. The other feature I want to show you, which Karthik spoke about, is called Resource Schedule Optimization, or RSO. Now, during a typical workday, there are these emergency orders that come in from all directions, and it kind of messes up the beautiful schedule that was built by the optimizer the night before. For example, in this case, this emergency order comes in and I have to act upon it. Now what that does is that it hurts your company's productivity. All the technicians, they kind of scramble to get this emergency order done, and as a result, your lower priority maintenance kind of work orders either get dropped off, or even worse, they get moved to a different technician, and it causes the whole domino effect. So RSO prevents that by optimizing the schedule of just one technician by moving around or shuffling lower priority jobs, so that as a result, your emergency job gets the priority it needs, and then your rest of the jobs don't get dropped, but they just get shuffled around. So to give you an example, in this case, let's say as a dispatcher, I drag this particular job to a technician, and now you can see I've created an overlap. I'll click on the technician name and click on Resource Schedule Optimization. There are a lot of settings here I can choose from. The first thing is I define a range of optimization window, and then I can pick my scheduling policy, and I can also choose to keep certain kinds of work orders pinned if I don't want them to move. So in this case, I want to keep my emergency order where it is. And when I click on Optimize, it takes about 20 to 30 seconds generally. You'll see a little animation that would pop up for this user. It kind of shows me in a very neat way that this particular resource is getting optimized. You'll also notice up top that there's a message I get which says request sent. If I click on it, it'll show me more details about what's going on. So right now the optimization is in progress. And when I go back, you can see here another indicator of showing me that it's in progress. While that happens, I want to show you our next feature, which is in communities. So let's imagine the particular technician that this work order was assigned to happens to be a contractor. Now we have made it super easy to share data with contractors, partners, or even customers on communities by allowing sharing of all FSL standard objects that you can expose on communities. So in this case, I'm in communities, and you can see in the navigation bar, I have added a couple of FSL objects. If I go down to work orders, you'll notice I can see as a contractor manager, I can see all the work orders that I have access to. In this case, I'm interested in this particular one. So I drill down to details of it. There's some additional features I want to show you here. The first one being path. So as Karthik mentioned, path is a way to guide user through stages of an object, in this case a work order and work order status, through a really cool UI and even cooler animations. So I'll show you an example of that. So let's say as a manager, I want to change the status of this work order to a final stage. So depending on what stage I pick, I would see a different UI and a different animation. So if I happen to pick, let's say completed, click on save, you can see everything is green. It's a good ending to the work order. But let's say I'll go back to assign. Let's say I happen to pick a final stage which is cannot complete. You'll notice I see a different animation. Now it's red. It's showing me that something has gone wrong. So I think that's a very nifty feature. The other feature I want to highlight is around articles. So now we have enabled associating articles, knowledge articles on work type. What that means is that once you associate an article on work type, any subsequent work orders you create, that article gets attached to it. So this particular article you see on this work order isn't attached to this work order only, but to the work type of this work order. So that's another feature. Now I'll move on to show you all the mobile features. So this year we have made a lot of investment on our Android app, and as a result, you'll notice that all the features that you've come to love and use on iOS will now also be available on Android. So starting with the first one, when I click on the date picker, you notice there's a new monthly view now, and usually you only see a weekly view. This is based on the range of date you pick. So if you happen to pick a range that's wider than 9 days, you will see a monthly picker. We've also added service appointment list views. So all the list views that you create on your desktop are also available here for you to filter your work orders by. If I drill down to a work order, I want to show you that the service report preview is now available. So when I start to create a service report, before I gather the signature, customers can now see a preview of what they're going to sign. Once they do sign and create a service report, you'll notice that you can customize it with the company logo or images, and you'll also notice on top right corner that there's a share button now. When I click on the share button, I can instantly email the service report to the customer, or I can even print it using some sort of a plugin that my phone provides. The other feature I want to show you is that now flows are available on Quick Actions, which I know a lot of customers have been asking for. What that does is that you can now add flows on the layout of a page. You don't have to use app extensions for that. The other enhancement we've done on flows is that now you can upload images in your flow. Moving on, I'm going to the inventory tab. You'll notice that in the inventory tab, now you can see inventories from multiple locations. That means in this case, these multiple locations happen to be the technician's primary location and all the child locations that are associated with the technician. The other feature we have added to Android app is that we have enabled barcode scanning. So on all the reference fields and fields in the edit view or flows now have a barcode scanning button which you can use. Moving on to profile, my resource absence page now is layout driven. What that means is that you can add all the fields that you want based on your preference to the resource absence screen. For the next feature, I actually want to go back to desktop and show you service report templates. We have enabled filtering on multiple fields. So in this case, I'm going to work order line item details, go on filters, and you can see I have 5 fields to choose from to create a filter, and that just helps in minimizing them and showing only the relevant data on a service report. So these are all the features that we've been and the team has been working on for summer. Moving on, I want to show you what we have coming in for winter 19. So as you can see on the slide, we have made a lot of enhancements or planning to make a lot of enhancements in all 4 categories. The first one being mobile worker. So the first feature, offline flow, has been a big ask by a lot of our customers. What offline flow does is that it makes formulas and validations available in flow even when you are working offline on the FSL mobile app. So now with validations, you can show your technicians validation messages, which will prevent them from entering wrong data. You can also use visibility expression controls to hide or show certain fields based on the user input. So this makes available only relevant fields that a user would want to see. On the snap-in side, we're making enhancements there as well. We're adding more snap-in components, specifically day of service components. What that does is it makes, again, without having to write any additional code, it will make some additional components available on your website for your customers to see. And in this case, there are 2 specific components that we're working on, which will show you ETA and profile information of a technician that is going to visit you on day of service. We're also making it easy for contractors to manage schedules and resources by giving them access to dispatch console on communities. On the core field service side, we're doing a pilot where customers can leverage predictive traffic information to estimate ETAs and travel times based on the traffic patterns. So for example, let's say in the morning there's high traffic on the bridge. FSL will take that into consideration and try to minimize the travel time by routing around it or routing different jobs. We're also adding language support to service report. So this enables technicians to choose customers' preferred language while they're generating a service report on site. The next feature is transfer of serialized product items. So this allows for better tracking of your assets by allowing serial number to be captured while you're transferring a product or consuming a product. Coming on to user guidance, we have made a lot of investment in user experience by showing users a relevant set of actions based on the context. So what this does is that it allows customers to create a real-life business process in a way that it will provide users a guided experience in form of step-by-step actions, which can take them from, let's say, work order creation to its completion. It will be available on desktop and eventually on mobile as well. Going on to integrated platforms, we'll be adding new IoT Lightning components to our mobile app, which would enable technicians or mobile workers to see IoT information coming from an asset in near real time right on their mobile apps. So if I drill down to an asset, I can see, let's say, meter readings like temperature, pressure, etc. if I have a connected asset in that case. And finally, we're leveraging live messages in field service. This is great for customers who want to use texting to, let's say, get update on their appointment status, or even contractors who want to, let's say, accept or reject their appointments using text messaging. And that is all we have coming up in winter 19. Thank you.
That's all. I think that is the most jam-packed winter release schedule I've ever heard. Amazing. So congratulations on releasing all those great features for summer. Thank you so much for all the hard work on that. I want to step back to Kartik and ask you about communities. I'm curious, what are some of the objects that are available in communities from field service?
So pretty much all of the objects that are relevant to a contractor are already available in the communities. So if you think about work order management, you got work order line items and appointments, those are available. If you talk about resource management, so objects like service resource, their operating hours, their absences, all of them are available. If you think about forward and reverse logistics, products like product request or product consumed and written orders, all of them are available in the community. So we have made sure that the objects that drive certain use cases specific to contractors as well as end customers are available in the Lightning communities.
Excellent. Glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. What about for the paths? Because that looked so clean, just the way those animations worked. And I'm curious, is the path also available in Classic?
So Path is not available in Classic. Path is available only in Lightning. So that's something that customers that want to take advantage of need to be aware of. So
Hashtag it's better in Lightning.
It's better in Lightning, yes.
Awesome. Great, great. So Tushar, I have a couple of questions for you on the mobile side because those new enhancements were amazing. So for the Android app specifically, when can we expect those new features to be available?
So the next release for Android, which we're calling it Android 4.0, comes out somewhere in mid-July.
Okay, great. And what about the iOS app? When is that going to be upgraded?
So that will follow, and that will follow the winter schedule. So it'll be around October.
Thank you. Last question on Android. I'm curious about the chatter posts as it relates to the offline capability. Is that available now?
So that won't be available with the 4.0 release, but good news is that it will be available with the 5.0 that comes out in winter.
Okay, I'll let you off for that one because you gave us flow. So thanks so much for the offline flow.
Thank you.
All right, and with that, we're all wrapped up for release readiness for summer 18. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you right back here for winter 19.